Hey, what's up? You know about Teletubbies? You know it. I know it. They were fucking the vacuum. They really were. Like, come on. Let's just be real here. It's just four tubbies in space prison. And it is a prison. You might have been thinking that it's some kind of commune and they're just socialists, but no, they're inmates. There's an alarm that sounds, and a periscope comes up from the ground telling them it's time to exercise or it's time to eat. They get fed this gruel called tubby custard, and that's all they eat. It's definitely a prison. Seriously, their names alone let us know that shit. Dipsy? What's that sound like? That's tipsy plus dip. My man was Bud Lights and Copenhagen for decades and thought that he could just drive that way. Nope, they got him. He got himself locked up with Tinky Winky. That's a sex offender name. Let's be honest, Tinky Winky. That's a sex offender name, and not the cool kind of sex offender either. I think we know what he did. Then there's Lala. Lala is just crazy. You don't want to know what he did. It's probably like fecal related. And then Poe. Poe's a shooter, bro. You don't want to test Poe. Poe means it. And look, I'm not bullshitting you here. You might remember the Teletubbies as being these cute little furry adorable things, but that's not the case at all. It couldn't be further from it. Just Google this right now if you think I'm lying to you. Teletubbies are on average 7 foot tall. They're large, they're killing machines, they're fearsome. And you got 4 extremely dangerous Teletubbies locked up together. And you're gonna tell me they're not fucking the vacuum. And look, this isn't a regular vacuum we're talking about. This vacuum has a mind of its own. It's got eyes. It's got feelings. It's even got a name. Its name is Nunu. And Nunu is locked up with 4 Teletubbies. Not just Tinky Winky's freaky ass, but 4 Teletubbies. And these boys are thirsty. Look, if you think they're not fucking it, let me just tell you a little bit about my vacuum real quick. My vacuum has stickers on it that look like eyes, and then it has another sticker on it with a name tag that says James. The one in my workplace has one as well with a different name. It's all from like one brand. Just from being in quarantine shut down, James has been looking kinda thick, bro. I've been passing James in the kitchen with his hose out. Now look, I'm not saying I do it. I'm not a barbarian, I'm not an animal. It's James we're talking about here. But just from being in shutdown for these 2 months, I'm not saying I do it, but I am saying I get it. James is looking better by the day. And these tubbies, we don't know how long they've been locked up. Sure, Dipsy, he's only there for a couple months and then he's going to be on probation and can't drive. But the rest of them, they might have been in there for millennia to us. We don't know the life expectancy of a tubby. We don't know if they perceive time differently than we do. And we don't know what kind of judicial system they have. And we don't even know if Tinky Winky could get a lawyer to fuck with him after what he did. So we just have to assume it's all conjecture right now. So it could be that they were on this deserted prison planet for just years. But it's equally likely that they were there for literal millennia. They could have been there longer than humans have been around. Now, imagine that level of thirst. On stream the other day, one of my viewers was talking about how he was being tempted by his couch cushions. how after all this isolation, they were starting to look awfully good to him. I don't want to name names, but shouts out to you, man. You know who you are. It's a real one right there. But that's 2 months. Now imagine if this young man had a vacuum cleaner like mine. God, I would be praying for James right now. I would be praying for James. And imagine if he had a vacuum cleaner like Nunu. Oh my God. Nunu would be on Teen Mom right now, if that was the case. So to think, to even momentarily flatter the idea that these 4 tubbies aren't smashing out on the vacuum, well, that's just nonsense. That is nonsense, and I'll have none of it. So yeah, thank you for attending my TED Talk. Now, I'd like to take just a quick moment to tell you about what it is you're seeing on screen right now. I know most of you aren't here for art advice or anything like that, but there are a few of you who are. So I'm just going to quickly cover what it is I'm doing, and then I'll get back to sleep-deprived rambling. So I started this piece out with a very quick colored pencil drawing. Once I had all the information down, I didn't go into crazy detailing or shading or anything like that. I just got the bare minimum down for what I could work with, and then moved on from there. There's so much of this that I go on to change anyway, that it really doesn't make sense to spend too much time on the early phases of the drawing. And once I had a solid foundation in colored pencil, I went ahead and took a picture just with my camera phone and uploaded that, opened it in Photoshop, and then used the edit transform functions and stretched it out a little bit to get the right shape that I wanted to do. Then after that, I sent it over to my iPad and pulled it up in Procreate. And in Procreate, I started out by going over the line work. I did this in 2 layers. One to cover just all the insides, all the guts and stuff, as well as the fetus. Then the other one was to go over the outline of the vacuum cleaner's shape and do all the overlapping lines that go over the stuff in the middle. And you might have noticed I was using a really obnoxious blue, and I was using different colors than what you're seeing right now. That was mainly just so I could see it accurately without messing up. And what you're seeing right now is me rendering the fetus. So I'm just smudging the hell out of everything, basically. I'm smudging away the lines that were over it, then I'm adding highlights, smudging those in, adding shadows, smudging those in. I set up the background to be a mid-tone, and I'm not worried at all about color right now. I'm just gonna figure everything else out, and then I'm gonna put on color. I'm gonna change the framing a little bit. I'm just gonna tweak it and make everything look pretty. Put it back into Photoshop and mess with it a little bit with the curves and whatnot. But right now I'm just figuring everything out before I get to those steps, because doing them all at once can really clutter the process, at least for me. Maybe you're a professional and it's no clutter at all to you, but to me, worrying about all that stuff at once is a mess. So I try to just take it one step at a time. That's that. I'm stepping off my soapbox. Not gonna keep acting like I know what I'm talking about. Let's get back to the important topic at hand. Who fucked the vacuum? Well, here it was Poe, the strongest of the Tubbies, the murderer, and it would only make sense that he has the strongest swimmers, and that's why it's his seed that's being reared in Nunu. But no, in all seriousness, Teletubbies was so fucking weird. And I'm not just saying that to be cute. Go back and watch an episode of it. This is made for babies and not for small children. It's got none of the children's programming tropes at all. So normally in a kids program, they're gonna give you some kind of lesson. They're gonna talk about how reading's real good, or run you through a situation that a kid might encounter at school or with his parents or in his neighborhood, and act out how to solve that. None of that happens in Teletubbies. This shit is for babies. Babies are just cruel, chaotic hedonists. So the entertainment mirrors that. There's actually no storytelling structure at all. There's just the characters, and they're just doing shit that feels good. Like, yeah, it really feels like it's a reality show where they just take 4 actors and dose them with MDMA to the point where they're just basically lobotomized, and we have them prance around in fursuits. It's incredible. You can't even compare it to other kids programming, honestly. Like, the closest thing to Teletubbies is the VHS from the movie The Ring, or like some David Lynch shit. So yeah, if you haven't watched Teletubbies as an adult, I recommend it. Sit through like 5 minutes of it. It'll fuck you up. But you know what? That's what we're here for. It's quarantine. We're getting weird. Let's get weird. Right. So you made it this far. That can only mean one of 2 things. One, you're somebody close to me whom I bullied shamelessly into sitting through this whole thing, in which case I apologize, I really do. Or you're somebody who stumbled across my content and sat through all of it because you're into it. So either way, thank you. Thank you so much for supporting me. I'm just starting out with these. This is my second illustration video. If you like this, you like the other one, just saying. But yeah, thanks for being here. I'm gonna do this again, same time next week, so catch me then. And in the meantime, if you just can't get enough of me, then I'll leave a link in the description to my Reddit. I do a live stream there where I draw whatever the chat tells me. It's nihilism, but it's good. It's good. It's a good time. What else? If you want print, I'll link that in the description as well. And anything else I'm forgetting, I'll link that shit in the description too. Thank you so much again for being here. And yeah, same time next week.